The existence of magic gave birth to demons, and to counter them, humans awakened special powers known as the Awakened. A Demon King emerged, an SSS-class monster with 5 elements. To fight it, the government sent the strongest awakened team in the world, led by Bai Yi, an L-class warrior. Their mission was to cleanse the demonic cave for the highest authority called God. Bai Yi charged forward, declaring the beginning of the operation. Facing his 100th high-level demonic cave, his team included Ling Yu, an L-class assassin following closely behind. Han Xiaoling, a cloud mage who used Glacial World to freeze the entire area. And Lucian, an L-class supporter who buffed the MC, increasing his power and speed many times over. The battle reflected their teamwork. Bai Yi cut through the demons effortlessly, despite the high difficulty of the operation. Thinking about the vacation they would get after the mission, he defeated the Demon King in a single strike, confirming the elimination of the Demon King, Belphegor. Xiaoling remarked that they finished way too quickly and didn't even have any fun. Lucian, feeling uneasy, said that this mission required their entire team's deployment, asking Bai Yi if it didn't feel way too easy. Bai Yi agreed, saying that the intel had stated it was a special Demon King with 5 elements and a hidden skill. Ling Yu hugged him from behind, coming close and asking if he would treat them all to a feast. She teased him, whispering in his ear, asking if the two of them should go alone. Flustered, Bai Yi pushed her away, telling everyone to gather at the usual place. Xiaoling scoffed, saying that Bai Yi didn't understand women at all. Bai Yi looked around and asked if he wasn't there. Lucian informed him that he hadn't joined the battle, saying he'd take care of the cleanup. The team remarked that he was lazy and slacked off all the time. We then see a figure standing there, a masked man, who declares the beginning of the purge operation and shoots Xiaoling in the head, killing him instantly. Everyone is shocked. Xiaoling lies on the ground, dead, with a hole in his head. Bai Yi realizes he can't move his body. The masked man tells him that his breakfast had been laced with paralytic poison for a month. Using his Forbidden Vine skill, he restrains the others, saying that he had to prepare quite a bit to eliminate them. Bai Yi asks if he has gone mad and what he's doing. The masked man replies that this is God's decree, the elimination of the divine core. The vines wrap tighter around Ling Yu and Lucian, crushing them. The masked man uses his vines, they shoots out towards Ling Hui and Lucian. Bai Yi watches in dismay as blood splatters everywhere. Both of Ling Hui and Lucian have become donuts. In rage, Bai Yi demands to know what right he has to do this, saying that the divine core never crossed any line. The masked man stands tall, calling Bai Yi naive, and says that when God kills, he doesn't need a reason. Moving forward, he pierces Bai Yi's chest with his hand. Bai Yi, in disbelief, says that they spent 10 years together, they were practically family. The masked man smiles sinisterly, saying that Bai Yi still doesn't understand. From their first meeting, God had been moving his pieces. They were always just pawns. Acting this role made him sick too. Bai Yi falls to the ground as the masked man points his finger at him and shoots him in the head. May 22nd, 2125. All members confirmed dead. L-class purge operation complete. Bai Yi wakes up in a dark place, bound by chains. He looks around, trying to figure out where he is. A man wearing a black suit calls out to him. Bai Yi looks up in surprise and recognizes him. It's Belphegor. Bai Yi asks how he's still alive. Belphegor, acting carefree, says that an SSS-class demon wouldn't die that easily. He tells Bai Yi that he's inside his soul domain and that he can feel the hatred within him, hatred that matches his own. Belphegor proposes a deal, explaining that his hidden skill is life regression, and that he can send Bai Yi back to the past, giving him a chance to change everything. Placing a hand on Bai Yi's shoulder, he asks if he's interested. Bai Yi recalls all his comrades. With every memory, his fury grows. He remembers all their deaths and the masked man. Something inside him snaps. He declares that he will kill the masked man and all the gods sitting on their high chairs. Hearing that, Belphegor smiles and says that his answer is just as expected. He hands Bai Yi a heart, telling him to consider it a welcoming present. Bai Yi asks why he's making this deal and what the price is. Just as Belphegor is about to explain, everything fades to black. He wakes up in the year 2105 at the Awakened Academy Middle School. His teacher scolds him, telling him to get on his feet. Bai Yi looks down at himself, shocked. He's really gone back to before he awakened. His teacher gets furious and scolds him for sleeping in class, telling him to stand at the back. He stands up and walks to the back of the classroom, still unable to believe that he has regressed back in time. Looking at the students, he realizes they're the classmates he hasn't seen in 20 years. The teacher continues the lesson, telling everyone to focus. She explains that there are 5 elemental powers in the world: lightning, flower, cloud, nuclear, and stellar, and that each person can only possess one element. She demonstrates by forming ice in her hand, saying that she possesses the rare cloud element. Depending on how an element bonds with the body, it's classified into 3 categories: combat, support, and special. The combination of the 5 elements and their roles creates many professions. She tells the students that they've already surpassed ordinary people by awakening among millions, but today is their most important day. There are nearly 100 professions, ranked as dust, amber, abyss, and celestial. Everyone awakens only once, and today's test will determine their future status in the world. As Bai Yi walks, he remembers that this is where he first awakened. A boy with glasses suddenly falls to the ground. 3 guys mock him, saying, "How dare trash like you, who relies on artificial awakening, get in our way? Do you think you're special just because you're about to awaken?" Four Eyes tries to hand them some money, saying he made a mistake. Bai Yi recalls that, in his past life, that same bully always picked fights because he had overly dominant genes and a big ego. Bai Yi's teacher appears, telling Hong Shangsheng to stop, reminding him that this is a school, not a robbery scene. Hong explains that Four Eyes was the one who bumped into them, asking if it isn't fair for him to compensate his friends with some bubble tea. Getting close to her, he sneers, telling her not to play hero, and that if she weren't kinda hot, he would have fired her ages ago. Hong leaves, and Teacher Huang helps Four Eyes stand up, asking if he's alright. Bai Yi stands in front of Hong with his hands casually in his pockets. Hong pushes him aside, saying that he'll come back later to laugh at those weaklings. Four Eyes is still crying, saying that it was all his fault, while Teacher Huang reassures him that it wasn't. Bai Yi looks at her and remembers that she was always kind and helped him a lot after his awakening. Someone from afar calls out to her, saying that it's her class's turn for the awakening chamber. Teacher Huang tells everyone to stay calm and avoid any injuries during the exam. Bai Yi reveals that there are 2 types of awakening in the world. The first type applies to people like Hong. It usually occurs in those with strong physical constitutions and natural talent. It happens naturally during moments of extreme emotional intensity. The second type uses the awakening chamber. Inside the chamber, emotions and adrenaline are intensely stimulated. Since everyone can awaken only once in their lifetime, it's called a once-in-a-lifetime chance. That's why it's considered life's reset button. Someone calls Bai Yi, telling him that it's his turn. Teacher Huang reminds him to focus and not slack off like he did in class. He walks past her, saying that he knows, because in his past life he awakened as an E-class nuclear warrior, the lowest tier, which led to constant bullying. It was only when he reached S tier that he managed to awaken the rarest type. Inside the awakening chamber, he wonders what kind of profession he'll get this time. Energy begins to surge around him, and a notification appears. Awakening system error. Another message follows. 5 elements detected. Bai Yi grabs his chest, feeling a strange warmth spreading from within. Confused, he wonders what's happening. Then, a final notification appears. Infinite Awakening System activated. It states that the MC may choose any profession as his initial class because he has all 5 elements within his body. When a certain element accumulates enough power, he can obtain that element or choose to upgrade his original class. Bai Yi is surprised that he can gain new classes in the future. Not only can he obtain all the standard ranks, but even the special ranks. He remembers Belfour giving him the heart, and realizes that it grants him the ability to awaken infinitely. The system tells him that after he selects his initial class, all other elemental bars will be cleared, urging him to choose carefully. Outside, the other students wait for their turn, wondering why Bai Yi is taking so long. When he finally steps out of the awakening chamber, Teacher Huang greets him with a cheerful smile and asks what class he has awakened. Bai Yi apologizes, saying he'll have to disappoint her. He awakened as a nuclear warrior. Hearing that, her expression dims for a moment, but she quickly reassures him that many extraordinary people have emerged from the nuclear warrior class and tells him not to give up. Bai Yi replies that she doesn't have to comfort him, but she ignores his words, saying he must be feeling terrible and should rest. The awakening must have exhausted him. Hong laughs at him, mocking her words. How could she spread such toxic positivity? He sneers. Everyone knows reality isn't like that. Dust here means you're at the very bottom. That's how the world works. The gods pick the strong, and the weak are abandoned. Hearing that, Bai clenches his fists in anger. Teacher Huang asks Hong why he's even here. He smirks and says, "You know that those of dust rank can only sit in the back row for lessons. Do you know why that is?" He continues, "Because the strong get better resources and become stronger and stronger, while dust rankers can only become bottom feeders. So what can hard work change in their lives? This academy is a small example of that. Dust rankers shouldn't waste government resources. They should just go home early." Bai Yi just grabs his cup and splatters the tea on his face. Hong, wiping his face, asks Bai Yi what he is doing. Bai Yi says that he doesn't like to listen to him talking. Hong laughs while cursing Bai Yi, still trying to wipe the tea off his face. He punches Bai Yi while Teacher Huang tries to stop him. Just as Hong is about to hit Bai Yi, the MC materializes a sword, blocks his attack, and then parries it. Hong is pushed backward and falls to the ground. Everything goes silent for a moment. Hong coughs up blood from his mouth and is stupefied. He looks at Bai Yi, wondering what just happened. Everyone looks in amazement, wondering how Bai Yi did that. Bai Yi, placing the sword on his shoulder, says that he chose this class because he is just used to it. Hong stands back up and laughs, saying that he just dodged once and got lucky, claiming that he is a rare abyss class and there's no way he would lose to Bai Yi. Teacher Huang thinks that just now couldn't have been luck because Bai Yi used parry, a skill exclusive to the warrior class, to block it at the very instant of receiving it and within an impossible reaction time of 0.09 seconds, reflecting the damage back to the opponent. It's a skill even her master wasn't able to master. Hong pulls out a dagger and asks Bai Yi if he is ready to die, then uses his assassin class to increase his attack and speed. He rushes at Bai Yi to attack him, while Bai Yi remains calm, thinking that he has his reasons for choosing a weak class. Because judging a person's future and life from birth is a grave sin that people will realize too late.
Various students watch, saying that the use of awakened powers is forbidden for personal fights. Hong's father is a high-ranking official, and his uncle is the dean of the school. Bai Yi's family, on the other hand, is dirt poor with no background. Four Eyes says that if Bai Yi fights, he could be expelled, and asks Teacher Huang what they should do. Teacher Huang intervenes, saying that everyone has just awakened today. They might be comrades who fight together in the future, and tells everyone to calm down. Hong retorts, asking if she's joking. Bai Yi just provoked me in front of everyone, and you're telling me to let it go? Even if he begs, I'll teach him the difference between the chosen and the loser. Teacher Huang is worried, but knows he's right. The difference in quality is created by the attribute bonuses provided by different classes. A Dust Ranker's attribute bonus is 100%, the same as a normal human. A Glimmer rank, like herself, has 150%, whereas an Abyss class has a bonus of 200%. The moment they awaken, an Abyss Ranker's attribute power is double that of a Dust class, and that gap can never be overcome. Four Eyes looks at Bai Yi, wondering why he would fight someone much stronger than him. Hong is certainly trash, but to survive in society, they have to avoid the trash. And if they can't avoid it, they must learn to swallow their pride and bend. Even if you confront people like Hong, all that awaits you is greater humiliation. Hong charges at Bai Yi with a dagger, thinking that parry takes a large amount of stamina, and that there's no blocking it this time. "Try and dodge this," Hong shouts. Bai Yi scoffs, thinking, why would I dodge? Just as Hong is about to strike, Bai Yi vanishes and instantly appears behind him. Hong's eyes widen in disbelief. He couldn't even see when Bai Yi moved. He coughs up blood and collapses to the ground. Bai Yi thinks that trash belongs in the trash can. The crowd murmurs, saying that it looked like Hong just fell on his own. Teacher Huang is shocked that she didn't even see what happened either, while Four Eyes laughs, asking how he just fell over like that. But the pink-haired girl reveals that when Hong attacked the MC, he activated the unique warrior skill, Swiftness, and an advanced one at that. But she doesn't know what he did to injure his opponent. Then the system informs him that he has received 50 experience points. Bai Yi realizes that when he fights using his profession, he gains experience points, and when he defeats an opponent of a certain element, he earns elemental points. But seeing that the points are too low, he decides he has to clear some labyrinths as soon as possible. Hong, still on the ground clutching his throat, says to Bai Yi not to even dare leave. He picks up the sword and tries to attack Bai Yi from behind. Just then, they are halted by someone telling them to stop. The dean of the school, Hong Liang. Hong Liang appears and asks Hong if he hasn't already made a big enough fool of himself. Hong tries to explain, but Bai Yi just looks at him silently. Hong Liang addresses everyone, saying that they must be tired from the awakening and should go home to rest and tell their families about their awakening. Hong Liang then tries to reprimand Bai Yi.
Hearing the word home, he suddenly recalls something. Ever since he regressed, it never occurred to him that everyone he knew in his past life would still be alive. On the day of his awakening, another tragedy took place.
Bai Yi curses himself for forgetting the most important thing and dashes off in a hurry. The dean warns teacher Huang to keep her students under control. She bows, apologizing. The scene shifts to the dean's office. Huang remarks that if Bai Yi hadn't gotten lucky, he wouldn't have lost to him, to which Hong Liang shuts him up, asking if he has any idea what Bai Yi did. When Hong charged at him, Bai Yi hit the weakest point on his body, breaking his defenses before using Flash Blink. Even Hong Liang can't perform it with that much proficiency. That fight, Hong Liang says, was like watching a pro gamer toy with a max-level elementary schooler. Meanwhile, Bai Yi is running, because after being reborn, there's something he must do. Something he must stop, even if it costs him his life.
It's May 22nd, 2105. Bai Yi's father is watching TV and his mother is washing the dishes. When Bai Yi enters, his father asks if he finished early. Bai Yi, with tears in his eyes, feels glad that his mom is still alive. She says that she made his favorite hot and sour noodles, but Bai Yi requests to eat pickled fish instead. She replies that he can eat that tomorrow since she already made the noodles, but when Bai Yi insists, she agrees and heads to the door. Bai Yi asks if he can go too, but his dad stops him, saying that his mom can go alone. He reminds Bai Yi that today was his awakening day and asks him about the results. His father, Bai Lengsheng, a C-class electric warrior, holds 2 bottles in his hands and says that he finished work early just to celebrate with him. Bai Yi answers that he didn't awaken today, that the awakening took too long, and he didn't even make it in time. Lengsheng asks why Bai Yi came back so early. He orders Bai Yi to tell him what class he awakened while pressuring him. When Bai Yi tries to answer, Lengsheng hits him with a glass bottle and snaps, asking how dare he awaken as a useless dust rank, and if he's trying to disgrace him. Bai Yi tells us that his father is an awakened, and he's also very violent. In his previous life, on his awakening day, after his father found out his rank, he started beating him. Bai Yi's mom, as always, stood in front of him to protect him. Lengsheng beat his mom for a whole hour just to vent his anger. That day, his mom broke a leg, and a heavy blow to the head left her unstable. Back to the present, Bai Yi, still on the ground, reveals that he picked E-class nuclear warrior because of its special trait, but he still needs time. His father, unlike Hong, has a lot of experience. Bai Yi realizes that he can't beat his father right now. That's why he sent his mother away from the house. Lengsheng grabs Bai Yi by the hair and starts beating him, shouting that he shouldn't have let him be born. Just then, his mother comes back, horror visible on her face. Bai Yi, surprised, wonders why she's back so early. She rushed home, thinking that Bai Yi must be hungry. Lengsheng stands before Bai Yi's mother.
Inside a prison, a man asks Bai Yi what someone like him, who became a 1 in a million platinum rank from a green rank, is doing in a prison where only death row inmates come. Bai Yi, with his head down, says that he deserves to die. How could he beat his mother to death like that? In a panic to save his mother, Bai Yi tries to attack Lengsheng, but Leng easily brushes him off. A skilled awakened, even without using skills, is much stronger than a normal person. His mom comes close to him, worried if he's okay. She stands in front of Bai Yi, protecting him from Leng. Leng closes the door of the house and says that he was truly happy when he found out she was pregnant with a son. He thought the time for the Bai family's rise had come. He drags a chair toward her and says that the Bai family still has to rely on him to bring glory to their ancestors. He asks why Bai Yi awakened as a dust rank who can't even advance. Leng swings the chair to hit her, blaming her for everything. She closes her eyes, waiting to be hit. Just then, Bai Yi uses Flash Blink, a skill that when it reaches 100%, allows the user to pass through obstacles and sends Lang flying backward. Bai Yi warns him not to touch his mother. Lang laughs, surprised by Bai Yi's strength. Bai Yi, standing in front of his mother, thinks that it shouldn't take that long. All he has to do is block him. Lang closes the gap instantly and grabs Bai Yi's sword. Bai Yi tries to parry the strike, but it breaks through and crushes his ribs. Bai Yi feels that the power gap is several folds. Lang asks Bai Yi if he's trying to defy his father. Bai Yi takes every hit, determined to stop the tragedy that happened in his past life. Lang praises Bai Yi for holding out for so long, but reminds him that it's no good since he can't advance due to his weak profession. Lang picks up a chair and asks Bai Yi if he thinks he's great just because he awakened. Bai Yi sits there exhausted while his mother covers him with her arms. Just when Lang was about to hit them, someone knocks on the door. Bai Yi relaxes, realizing that they're here. Lang opens the door, shouting who it is and why they're knocking. 2 officers from the Inspectorate Department, Li Yang, an A-rank Divine Priest, and Chen Lin Wu, a Blue C-rank Divine Priest, say that they received a report that a wanted criminal named Snow appeared nearby, so they're conducting a search. Lang denies seeing anyone, saying that otherwise he would have reported it. The deputy notices Bai Yi covered in blood while his mother holds him. He asks Lang how this happened. Lang, with a smile, says it's nothing to worry about. Bai Yi just fell while going to buy groceries, to which Bai Yi states that it's not true. Lang looks at Bai Yi with menacing eyes. Just before coming back home, Bai Yi had reported a criminal from a nearby store, knowing that if he reported Snow, they would mobilize in a group, but they came faster than expected. Li Yang asks Lang if Bai Yi is telling the truth. Lang awkwardly says that Bai Yi is just joking, he would never hit his own son. To which Bai Yi replies that his arm was hit by a stool, his hand was hit by a wine bottle, and he also got kicked and punched. He adds that they could check his body for serious injuries. For awakened who cannot control their violent behavior, the Awakened Management Regulation, Chapter 6, Article 4, clearly states that if an awakened person poses any danger, they must be detained immediately and imprisoned for 15 days in an awakened prison. Li Yang and Chen Jinwu are shocked by Bai Yi's statement. Li Yang says that he is lawfully arresting Bai Langsheng and that he has the right to remain silent. Lang curses Bai Yi and tries to hit him, but Chen Jinwu tells him to calm down. If he resists, they will have to take control measures. Lang shouts for Bai Yi to just wait, even as they drag him away. Bai Yi's mom hugs him, worried, but he reassures her that it's okay now. Still, Bai Yi knows that there are only 15 days left. He tells his mom that this is the last time someone will try to harm her, thinking that he didn't take this beating for nothing because he swiped the safe key from his father, the thing that allowed him to climb from E rank to C rank, hidden in his own room.
Bai Yi, inside his father's room, opens the safe with the key he swiped from his father. He takes out a dagger from inside, thinking that
with this, he can try soloing the Demon's Den. Only the Demon's Den can upgrade a profession, but people who are not part of a guild cannot enter. So, he can only access those owned by the school, and the den he knew from his previous life is the Hidden Demon Den. Its applicable level and difficulty are unknown. At the Inspectorate office, the officers state that this time the alarm was false, but they can't relax as long as it's related to the rebels. If Snow shows up in the country on the anniversary day, it could cause a huge problem. Chen Jingwu says that he heard the captain is returning early, to which Li Yang reprimands him for discussing it. Meanwhile, Lang begs, saying this is the first time and he won't do it again. He even tries to bribe them, saying he heard that Liang's wife is about to give birth, and that he knows a friend who just opened a hospital in Chuxi. Liang warns Lang to stop trying to bribe them, saying that since he was part of a guild, it couldn't have been an accident. Chen tells Lang that if his bribery is found out, he won't just get detention, so he should get some rest. He'll be transferred to the awakened prison tomorrow. While Bai Yi's mother is still sleeping,
he has already left home, leaving behind a note.
He goes to a demon den, which is the best way to level up. Demon dens can appear anywhere in the world, and once detected, they are guarded by awakened because they contain various monsters and valuable resources. In his past life, this den was only discovered when the monsters invaded Earth, because it was hidden inside an abandoned building. Dungeons are very dangerous, requiring 3 E rank awakened to clear an F rank den, and 5 E rank plus 2 D rank awakened to clear an E rank den. But Bai has no choice but to go alone. He has to get Strongway as fast as possible. Inside the demon den, everything is covered in ice, hinting that it's the territory of ice element monsters. Bai sees an E rank monster sleeping, the Icefield Bear. He realizes the monsters are hibernating, which is why no one has discovered this den until now. Suddenly, an E-rank bloodthirsty forest wolf attacks Bai, but he parries the strike and pushes the wolf back. Then, Bai charges forward and using his dagger, cuts the wolf in half. The dagger is an A-rank weapon called the Kunwu Blade. It's forged from Kunwu stone and cuts like butter. It also increases normal stats, providing 20% lifesteal and 20% armor penetration. However, beasts have high defense, so it takes 3 to 4 cuts to get the job done, which makes Bai miss the days when he was an L rank. The wolf gives him 50 XP, meaning it would take about 20 wolves to level up and 10 levels to reach D rank. Bai is startled by the sound of beasts growling. He realizes that the smell of blood has attracted all of them to his location. Before the wolves could surround him, Bai charges at them, hitting their vital points and dodging their incoming attacks effortlessly. With a chain of dodges and counterattacks, Bai kills the wolves one by one, and with one final push, Bai jumps high in the air and cuts through the remaining wolves with lightning speed, obtaining 52 XP for each wolf and 18 snow wolf fangs. Then the bloodthirsty Wolf King appears, a level 4 E-rank monster. Bai, realizing that there is a Wolf King still left, rushes at it as fast as possible and overwhelms it with a barrage of lightning-fast strikes, defeating it in an instant and gaining 56 XP and a wolf diamond. Bai thinks that at this rate, he should reach D rank easily. The threshold for level upgrade has been reached, so Bai levels up and gains 12 stat points. Bai, panting, admits that his stamina is too low. Bai thinks that he needs to get a dimensional bag, otherwise he will have to leave a lot of loot behind. Most of the dens are monopolized by the guilds, and to level up, there is no other choice but to join one. Since the school is run by the guild to screen for talents, the best choice for students is to be selected by them, and if they are kicked out, they might never level up. Leng also stayed at C rank after being kicked out. Bai thinks that if he stays there any longer, he will freeze to death, and it's too slow to clear the den alone. Seeing the wolves on his tail, he gets an idea and starts running, leading the wolves through the forest, cutting down trees as he moves, which attracts the nearby monsters. Bai stops, surrounded by a large number of monsters, but he remains calm because he knows that the chaos he created would wake him up too. An awakened tundra bear crashes down onto the battlefield, scaring all the monsters. The bear, in a furious state, attacks indiscriminately, and all Bai has to do is dodge its attacks and pick off the stragglers. Moving with incredible speed, he cuts through the scattered monsters one by one. With that, Bai manages to reach level 4. The bear not only pulled the aggro, but also helped Bai save more than half of his stamina. Bai sees a snake distracted and cuts it in half with a single strike, because to get the experience, he has to deal the final hit. Exhausted, Bai sits down and takes a few breaths, realizing that he can't go on any longer, and decides that it's time to enter the next phase. He raises the dagger above his head and reveals that after such a destructive battle, the ice beneath their feet is at its limit. The moment the monsters charge at Bai, he plunges the dagger into the ice, shattering it. The ice beneath the monsters cracks, sending them into deep despair, eliminating them all at once, while Bai jumps to the other side of the cliff. Bai levels up to level 7 and gains 12 stat points along with some materials. While most of the monsters are dead, the remaining wolves, along with the bear, also jump to the other side. Now, Bai just has to deal with the remaining monsters with the stamina he has left. Bai obtains a new title, 1 against 100, which increases his stats by 10% when there are multiple enemies. Bai wonders that all dens have a final boss, and a den like this should have something like an E10 Lion King. Side note, E10 means E-class, level 10. Bai wonders if it is still unconscious, and if not, then why it hasn't appeared yet. The monsters growl at Bai. Just then, he feels a surge of magic. The magic is targeting them all. Bai realizes that he was wrong. The boss wasn't unconscious, but was waiting for them to run out of stamina. He quickly jumps back and runs toward the cliff. Behind him, the bear and the wolves are frozen, and Bai Yi also starts to freeze. He realizes that the ice bridge is also a trap, and there is only one intelligent monster in this type of den. A D11 Cave Lord, an ice-type monster. Bai Yi has fallen into a trap, frozen in ice. Soon he will lose his body heat and die. The Cave Lord orders his minions to attack. The demon monkey charges toward Bai Yi, and just as it's about to strike, Bai Yi breaks through the ice and kills the monkey. Bai Yi used a skill called Shatter, which creates a blast around the body but consumes a huge amount of stamina. Bai Yi knows that it will take time for the Cave Lord to cast such a powerful spell, so he has to defeat him before that happens.
The Cave Lord raises his arm, clenching his fist. He releases the Tundra Bear for the ice.
Now Bai Yi is facing the Cave Lord and the calmed-down Tundra Bear along with the wolves. He realizes that with his current stamina, beating even 2 monkeys would be tough, and if more of them show up, his chances of winning will be 0.
A demon monkey rushes at Bai Yi, attacking him with his club. Bai Yi, exhausted, barely holds on. But when a second one joins,
the demon monkeys quickly overwhelm Bai Yi. He barely dodges their attacks and creates some distance. On the ground, Bai Yi can't gather his strength. The bear charges at him with full speed and sends him flying backward with one strike. Bai Yi manages to regain his balance and thinks that the environment is too cold and his stamina is already at its limit. The Cave Lord smiles sinisterly, holding his staff, and uses Ice Stone Raid, which sends large ice stones toward the target. Bai Yi is shocked that the skill's cooldown time is so fast, but he resolves himself. In his past life, he faced all kinds of situations and developed a perception for opportunities. Now he only has 2 options. The first is to take all the damage and fight the high-level monsters, which has 0 chance of survival, or choose the second option. Bai Yi runs to the edge and jumps down, but the attack hits him, and he starts freezing. The Cave Lord and the other monsters are shocked by his actions. Bai Yi falls down to the bottom of the ravine. Back at home, Bai Yi's mother goes to his room and is shocked to see that Bai Yi isn't there. She notices a letter on his bed,
saying that he's going to his friend's place, and he won't be out too late, so she shouldn't worry.
After reading it, she feels that something is wrong. If he were going to his friend's house, he would have told her directly. Ever since he came back home yesterday, he's felt like a completely different person.
Back when Bai Yi broke the ice, almost 100 demons fell down,
but he only gained 3 levels, which means that only 60 of them died.
So there must be a river at the bottom of the cliff, meaning the only way to survive was by jumping down. But on top of his exhaustion, falling into the river from such a height dealt too much damage to his body. Bai Yi wonders if he has reached his limit and falls unconscious. Bai Yi's status shows hypothermia, bleeding, and a weakened state. A monster approaches from the shadows, the Glacier Overlord, an E9 ice-type beast that looks like a saber-tooth. Bai Yi at his limit, unable to move any further.
He remembers his old party, his master scolding him for not calling even though Bai Yi came back.
Ling Wei, who was always cheerful, Han Shaoling, who was always up to no good, and his mother, who was always worried about him. And of course, he can't forget those on whom he has to take revenge. He refuses to have limits and won't let the past repeat itself again. Grabbing the tiger's jaw, he says that he won't lose them again. He has died once, and he will never die again. Bai Yi kicks the tiger right in the face, sending it flying backward. Kneeling on the ground, he takes a breath as the tiger approaches him again. But this time, a golden aura begins to rise from his body. Only a desperate situation can trigger a class advancement. He chose to solo the den, fought hordes of monsters, and jumped down the cliff. He kept throwing himself into hopeless situations just to remember a feeling from his past life. The system notification pops up, stating that he is under extreme desperation and that it's stimulating maximum adrenaline. Then another notification appears, triggering a class advancement. Though the class advancement fails, he learns a new ultimate skill, Nuclear Holy Swordsman. Holding his sword toward the monsters, he decides it's time to clean them all up. The tiger roars at Bai Yi, and the bear charges at him from behind. Bai Yi activates his ultimate skill, Sanctuary, and performs a circular attack, ripping the monsters apart in a single strike. He gains a large amount of XP.
The tiger, lying on the ground split in two, gives 66 XP. The activation of Sanctuary also clears fatigue and restores stamina. Bai levels up to Sun tier and obtains a new title, Icefield Wanderer, which increases his resistance to ice. He also fully learns the ultimate skill Sanctuary. Bai then decides to go back up and take care of the Cave Lord. But first, let's take a look at Bai's stats. His attribute bonus is still 100%. His strength is 263, speed 51, stamina 171, luck 76, and his elemental power and spirit are 11 and 12. Bai finishes off the remaining small fries and levels up to level 9. Due to the effects of Icefield Wanderer, he can barely feel the cold, and once Bai accumulates enough damage, the skill Sanctuary restores it and releases it on the enemy, fully restoring his stamina. Bai starts climbing the cliff, thinking that if he doesn't return home soon, his mother will start to worry. On top of the cliff, there's a temple-like structure. Inside, the Cave Lord is sitting quietly. As he's distracted by a noise, he opens his eyes, just as the ceiling comes crashing down in front of him.
Back at home, it's the 23rd of May. Bai's mom is waiting for him, wondering why he hasn't come back yet, and hoping he's okay. Breakfast is ready, but the seat across from her remains empty. Back in the cave, a huge bear is peeking through a hole in the wall. Bai is standing on top of the bear, faced with 4 demon monkeys. He has reached level 10 and greets the Cave Lord sitting behind the monkeys. The Cave Lord orders his minions to attack. One of the monkeys jumps toward Bai and swings at him, but Bai blocks the attack with his dagger and slices the monkey in half, gaining 70 XP. The Cave Lord, surprised by Bai's power, uses ice magic and fires Ice Storm Assault at him. Bai ignores the attack and charges straight toward the Cave Lord, taking advantage of his resistance to the ice element. Panicking, the Cave Lord pulls out another staff from his little pouch and sends the remaining monkeys to deal with Bai. Bai remarks that once he kills the Cave Lord, he can reach rank D. The monkeys try to stop him, but he uses Flash Blink and passes right through them, then cuts off the Cave Lord's hand. The Cave Lord, startled and unable to understand what's happening, looks at Bai. Bai says goodbye and cuts him into pieces.
A notification pops up saying that the boss of the D-Class Icefield Den, King of the Azure Forest, has been defeated, and Bai gains 1000 XP. While the remaining monkeys try to run away, another notification appears. He has advanced to D-Class. All attribute bonuses have increased by 100%, and he has gained 12 stat points. Another window pops up, catching Bai's attention. It states that enough ice element has accumulated and a new profession is about to unlock. Bai had forgotten about it since he's been fighting all this time. Now he can gain another profession. The system calculates the accumulated element points and awakens a red E-Class Ice Element Mage profession. It also states that he can switch professions at any time.
Bai is surprised by the red profession, even though it's only E-Class. Being red gives a 200% bonus. Its power is already similar to his D-rank warrior class. The 2 items he looted are a D-Class mage weapon called the Stone of Magic, which gives plus 40 to spirit and elemental power, and increases the area of effect by 50%, and a D-rank magic pouch with the capacity to store 20 items. While the demon monkeys watch curiously, Bai picks up the items. Seeing the monkeys startled, he gets an idea. Since there are still some small fries left, he switches his profession to mage and decides to test out his new powers. Back at home, it's now the 24th day of the month. Bai's mom is sitting on the sofa, clutching her arm, still waiting for him. When Bai opens the door, she stands up in shock. As he walks inside, he apologizes for making her wait so long. She hugs Bai tightly and starts crying. Bai tells her that she hasn't even eaten because she was waiting for him. Then, he looks at her and says he has a proposal he'd like her to listen to. Bai, using the pouch, brings out every valuable item. The broker looks at the magic core and says that he can only give him 800, to which Bai replies that he wants 8,000 and takes the core back from his hand. The broker argues that Bai is asking too much and offers 2,000. Bai asks for 5,000, and after some negotiation, they finally settle on selling the magic stones for 7,000. In his past life, Bai had done this many times, so he is confident that he can sell these items at a good price. Now, with this money, he can rent a good place for his mother. The broker shows them the new place. In his past life, Bai Yi's mother never had a single good day, so this time he wants her to live a happy and peaceful life. Bai Yi rents the place for 15,000 a month, while his mother tries to stop him. In the evening, Bai Yi's mother is cooking, and Bai Yi thinks that it's been so long since he has seen her smile. In his room, Bai Yi sits on his bed. Now that he has settled the housing issue and reached D rank, his father is still in prison, so he can't let his guard down. While carving a stone, he thinks that until this matter is fully resolved, he can't actively take his revenge. He creates a D rank weapon, the Stone of Magic, and ties it around his wrist. Bai Yi decides that it's time to find that thing. Meanwhile, in another location, Hong can be seen exiting a dungeon. The others behind him look tired, while a guy praises him for his performance. His sister, trembling, comes to him with a water bottle, saying that he should get some rest. Hong just slaps the bottle away, saying that they should head to the next dungeon while there's still time. Hong has finally reached level 3. He thinks that no one can improve faster than him, and in the upcoming combat simulation test, he'll show everyone who the real deal is. A female awakened reads the list of professions awakened at the academy and sighs, thinking that there's nothing to look forward to this time. The next day, Bai Yi's mom smiles while watching him eat breakfast in a rush. Bai Yi asks her why she didn't wake him up earlier, to which she replies that he was sleeping so soundly she couldn't bring herself to wake him. Patting his head, she tells him to eat slowly. It's all right to be late once in a while. Bai Yi smiles, thinking that it's been a long time since he had a proper meal with her like this. His mom then asks him if he wants a toy, a book, or any electronic device. Bai Yi chuckles and asks why she suddenly wants to give him a gift. His mother reminds him that his birthday is coming up next week. Bai Yi suddenly remembers, June 5th is his birthday. In his past life, after his mother died, he never celebrated it again and had forgotten about it completely. Bai Yi thinks about what he might want, but he already has what he wants the most. Now it's time for him to get his revenge. At the Awakened Academy, the teacher announces that it's time to prepare for the combat simulation. Since their school is affiliated with the guild will be watching their every move. It's the first stage where they'll get to perform after their awakening. The battle will serve as their middle school assessment and will even be broadcast live. The teacher adds that the student who performs the best will get to participate in the training pilgrimage with the high school division. During the pilgrimage, the school organizes the best students to travel together to Shengi, the Divine Guild's headquarters. It's the place where Bai Yi and his master first met, and also the masked man's birthplace. To find him, getting a high score in the test and joining the pilgrimage is the fastest way. While the students are all fired up, the teacher tells them to begin official training. The first part is physical training. He points to the gravity room and tells them to start with 10 sets of shuttle runs. Bai Yi walks over to the instructor and says that he doesn't want to use that training room. Other students look at the commotion. The instructor says that he heard about Bai Yi's fight with Hong last week, but he can't skip training just because he beat a red quality profession. Bai Yi says that he wants to do specialized training. The instructor asks Bai Yi if he has any problem with his methods, and if he's refusing to do physical training. Bai Yi replies that physical training is essential for all awakened. But shuttle runs only help professions like assassins and warriors, which require speed and power. Professions like mages and chanters, however, are better suited for the elemental room to train their control over elemental power. His teacher remarks that it seems like Bai Yi is teaching his teacher how to do his job. A girl with pink hair notices that the method Bai Yi is talking about is the same one mentioned by Dr. Dong Yang. But it was only recently published by him, and if her dad hadn't bought the videotape, even she wouldn't have known about it. So how does Bai Yi know about it? Four Eyes whispers to Bai Yi that even if he has a point, he should be more considerate of the teacher and not be so blunt. The teacher puts his hand on Bai Yi's shoulder and with a smile says that Bai Yi's training method sounds interesting, and he was the one who wasn't being considerate. But there are too many students to cater to, and it's their middle school graduation exam. If he messes it up, it could ruin their lives. In his previous life, Bai Yi may have had a terrible family, but he had good teachers who helped him grow without becoming too twisted. Bai Yi asks his teacher to believe in him, saying that he won't let him down in the graduation performance. The teacher asks Bai Yi how he wants to train. Bai Yi says that he would like to train in the elemental room at max settings. Hearing that, the teacher bursts out laughing, while the other two look at Bai Yi with interest. Scratching his head, Bai Yi makes an excuse that even though he is a nuclear warrior, he wants his abilities to be balanced, so he will try to challenge his own weaknesses, thinking that he can't tell them he just wants to train his magic profession. The girl with pink hair also volunteers, saying that she's a mage too. The instructor sighs and allows them to do as they please, as long as they don't embarrass him in the final exam. The pink-haired girl asks Bai Yi to practice together, since it's faster, but Bai Yi rejects the offer, saying that he's going to use a private room. Meanwhile, Four Eyes, demotivated, says that since he's already at the bottom, he should just find a place to slack off, which the teacher denies. Inside the training room, Bai Yi is familiar with the warrior class, but the mage class is still new to him, so he needs to master it as quickly as possible. Since the school is under the jurisdiction of the gods, he should hide that he can use two professions if he doesn't want to become a target again. As for his classmates, he decides he shouldn't get involved with them. After school, two of his classmates call out to Bai Yi, telling him to stop. In his past life, those two were Bai Yi's best friends. They were often bullied, so they became close. That was his only happy memory in school. But in this life, his goal is revenge, and useless social interactions will only slow him down. Still, Bai Yi remembers something. The guy in the green hoodie says he thought they were friends, but Bai Yi just runs off. Four Eyes says that Bai Yi seems to have gotten stronger lately, so why would he wait for them? But Bai Yi, waiting outside, calls for Specs and tells him that he needs to get his lungs checked out. The guy in the hoodie gets excited, thinking that Bai Yi was waiting for them to go home together, but Bai Yi says no and just rides off. Bai Yi reveals that in his past life, Four Eyes was diagnosed with a serious lung disease and passed away soon after. Even if they're not friends in this life, Bai Yi hopes that he can live a healthy life. The guy in the hoodie says that Bai Yi's been so cold recently. Four Eyes agrees, saying that he's changed a lot, but Bai Yi is still the same person. In Shingi, at the new recruit training ground, a middle-aged man says that he heard a new recruit is doing exceptionally well and asks if he is the one who broke all the records. The guy who looks like the masked guy thanks the man in the swimsuit and says that he is there to give him a report. Back at home, on 25th May, Bai Yi, while eating breakfast, says to his mother that she shouldn't go out alone from now on. He will come home early in the evening and bring groceries. Bai Yi knows that that's not the problem. He needs to provide a more safe and stable environment for his mother as soon as possible. At the awakened prison, all the prisoners are moving in a line for food. Ling comes to the counter and passes a note to the worker there, saying that he will leave the matter to him, to which the guard replies that it's been arranged, he can get out tomorrow. The next day, at the awakened school, Bai Yi is training in the elemental room with the guy in the hoodie. On Wednesday, his friends ask him for dinner, but Bai Yi refuses, saying that he has to go home early. But as he leaves, he gives them a hint that, as an archer, his wind-up when he uses his skill is too long, so he should work on that. On Thursday, Four Eyes sees the doctor for his lung checkup. The doctor says that it's a good thing he got checked early. He has a type of parasitic tumor which can grow very fast once it starts. If he gets surgery and removes it, then he will be fine. Four Eyes thinks that normally he would not have added a lung CT scan, so how did Bai Yi know that he had a problem with his lungs? Coming down the stairs, he hears someone talking that Hong has reached E-class, level 4, and he is definitely going to be the first in the assessment. The boy in the wheelchair asks, how did Hong do that? People normally need to go to a den to level up. The other guy says that his family owns private dungeons. He adds that Hong is also planning to teach Bai Yi a lesson after school. Hearing that, Four Eyes runs away in a panic.
Four Eyes, running in the corridor, thinks that he has to help Bai Yi. Outside of school, Hong will definitely use some cheap trick, or he may even call other people to gang up on Bai Yi. But then he slows down, thinking that even if he goes, what can he do? But he gathers his resolve because Bai Yi saved his life. He breaks the lock to the school armory. He opens the door, thinking he has to save Bai Yi, even if it means death. He takes an axe, telling Bai Yi to hang on. Someone asks him why he is trying to break into the armory. The pink-haired girl asks him what's the matter, as he seems to be in a hurry. Four Eyes says that he has to go save Bai Yi. The girl is surprised, unable to understand what he is talking about. We see Bai Yi going back home through an alley. He stops and asks Hong to come out. He's been following him since he left school. Hong comes out, saying that he came to settle the score from last week. Bai Yi asks if Hong thinks that he can beat him. Hong charges toward Bai Yi using acceleration and says that he can. He's been training for a long time. Hong uses backstab blink behind and gets behind Bai Yi. Bai Yi uses his dagger and cuts Hong's sword in half. Hong is shocked and wonders how Bai Yi's attack power is greater than his. Bai Yi looks at Hong with a grim expression and asks Hong if he thought he was the only one who got stronger. Bai Yi pins Hong to the ground. At that moment, Hong realizes something he didn't the first time. After hours of training and growth, he instantly feels that Bai Yi is someone he could never surpass. Hong asks if Bai Yi leveled up and what level he is. He asks how Bai Yi did it so fast, saying that it's impossible. He did extra training just to reach level 4, so how can Bai Yi possibly be faster than him? Hearing that, Bai Yi smirks, and pressing the dagger to his throat, asks Hong if he has ever died. Hong tells him to cut the crap. Since his life is in Bai Yi's hands, he can kill him or do whatever he wants, saying that Bai Yi has been looking down on him ever since their first fight. To that, Bai Yi replies that he can, but he doesn't hate Hong that much. Even though Hong followed him all the way, he didn't ambush him or call for backup. He just wanted to test his own strength. Hong tells Bai Yi to shut up. If Bai Yi doesn't kill him, and he's going to kill Bai Yi, and tells him to stop talking like he knows everything. Bai Yi says that he takes back what he said before and notices something behind him. Four Eyes and the pink-haired girl are hiding behind some trash cans. Four Eyes says that something feels wrong. It doesn't seem like Bai Yi needs their help right now. Bai Yi, sitting on top of Hong, says that he's been waiting for him and proposes a deal. He tells Hong that he can show him a way to get stronger faster. While Hong is genuinely surprised, Bai Yi adds that in return, Hong has to give him something. The next day, all the students are gathered in a hall. The instructor announces that the combat simulation is about to begin. But before that, he wants to tell them something important. Although it's called a simulation, they will be entering a real dungeon. Most of the monsters are sealed, but there is still danger, so they have assigned some outstanding seniors to guide them. They won't participate in combat, but if there is danger, they will intervene. A team of 3 to 5 people will be formed, one senior leading 3 to 4 students. They can choose between an E or F class dungeon. E class dungeons are dangerous, so they should choose wisely. After all the students have chosen a class, they will form teams. The instructor asks the students to raise their hands if they want to choose an E-class dungeon. Some students, including the pink-haired girl and Hong, raise their hands. The pink-haired girl is surprised that Bai Yi didn't choose an E-rank dungeon. Bai Yi raises his hand, telling the teacher to wait a moment, and says that he wants to challenge the school's D-rank Spirit Jade dungeon. Everyone gasps in shock, while Hong just stands there calmly. The instructor looks at Bai Yi with a weird look and then asks Bai Yi if he's joking, who jumps straight to D-class. The director intervenes, saying that a D-class demon cave is way too dangerous for high school students. Bai Yi argues that the school's handbook doesn't forbid higher D-class dungeons, and the students can choose their own level. The school's purpose is to choose talents for the Divine Core. Bai Yi asks the director if he's going to rob him of his chance to prove himself. The director says that the cave requires team entry. Bai Yi says that he can go alone. The director argues that the rules are there to protect the students and he can't go alone. To that, the pink-haired girl volunteers to go to the D-class dungeon. Finally, we have her name, Chi-yin. The director asks her if she's gone insane. If something happens to her, how would he face her father? To which she says that she also wants to get the highest score. When Bai Yi looks at her, she winks at him. Bai Yi refuses, saying that he will clear it alone. Hearing that, she gets furious, and the instructor calms her, saying that his refusal doesn't count. The director nags at them, saying that they only awakened a week ago and already have a pair of wings. The teacher says that if there are only the 2 of them, no senior will be willing to take the risk. Then, an upperclassman from a high school volunteers to go, saying that the future of the nation needs someone to protect them. The teacher says that if it's Ziling, then it will be fine. Chi-yin is shocked hearing his name, since he's the guy who almost got into the ultimate Divine Core. Bai Yi thinks about him, but has never heard of him. Meanwhile, Ziling thinks that Bai Yi is just another peacock who doesn't know his own worth. The instructor announces that since the teams are now set, they will begin the simulation immediately. Inside the cave, there is straining equipment that will follow them the whole time, and everything will be recorded. The instructor tells the students to do their best.
The Awakened Academy was built on the once-conquered Great Demon Cave. Both the high and middle school divisions are here. The Great Demon Cave created many small caves alongside it, just right for student trials. Most of them are controlled, ranging from F rank to D rank. Bai Yi and Qi Yin, along with the senior, enter the dungeon. Since everything is recorded, he has to be careful not to reveal all his abilities, and the cave he is entering has what he wants. Inside the cave, it's like a forest this time. Ziling says that he will protect them both, so there is nothing to worry about. He has cleared a D-rank dungeon with others many times. Qi Yin asks about how strong the monsters in a D-rank dungeon are. Ziling replies that they range from class E to D, from level 5 to 15. He adds that in this cave, the stronger monsters are sealed in a barrier, so monsters higher than E rank won't appear. Still, she should be careful of higher E rank monsters. Their speed and power can be overwhelming. Ziling tells Qi Yin to relax. He won't let her get hurt. Just then, Bai Yi walks past him. Ziling warns Bai Yi, saying that if he walks that far ahead, he could startle the monsters. Bai Yi remarks that he talks too much. Ziling barely holds his anger back after hearing that. Outside, the live streaming has begun. Everyone is watching the simulated test on the screens. At the ultimate campus, the vice captain calls out to the captain, suggesting that she should watch the live stream. A junior picked a D-rank dungeon. The captain, interested, asks what class the junior is. The vice captain says, "That's the funny part. He's just a green nuclear warrior." Curious, the captain says that she wants to see why he's so confident. At another test, Four Eyes is scared. While playing an instrument, he yells at the monsters not to come close. It seems like he is buffing his teammates while they fight the monsters. His senior, seeing him scared, tells him that as a chanter, he's supposed to stay in the back. He doesn't have to be so nervous. At another E-rank test site, the dungeon is swarmed with monsters. Everyone is exhausted and injured. While the beasts charge, Hong remarks that if they can't do it, then he will do it alone. He plunges his sword into a monster, thinking that he will surpass Bai Yi no matter what. Meanwhile, Bai Yi cuts through monsters effortlessly. E-class goat-like monster successfully eliminated. He gains 30 XP. Sometime later, there are corpses lying everywhere. Ziling watches with his mouth wide open, while Qi Yin asks him how he did that. Bai Yi says that the monsters here are sealed, so they can only use half of their strength, making them easier to deal with. Qi Yin praises him for taking down multiple monsters at once and says that she's a long way from catching up to him. Bai says that she shouldn't compare herself to others, and she should only focus on doing her best. With a big smile, she calls Bai Yi cool and says that she will do her best. Ziling is pissed off because Bai Yi is taking all the spotlight. He says that it's still a D-rank dungeon, so Bai Yi should be careful. Although his performance is good, it's his first time in a dungeon. As his senior, he'll give Bai Yi some advice. Bai Yi just ignores him and tells Qi Yin to take care of the monsters on the right, while he takes care of the monsters on the left. Bai Yi says that the monsters on the right are lower level, so she can take them on her own, while Ziling thinks that Bai Yi has no respect for his seniors. Bai Yi reminds Qi Yin that this is an individual test, and she came here to be assessed. Qi Yin agrees and says that she can do it. In front of the sealed cave, Bai Yi moves toward the left, and Qi Yin moves to the right. Ziling, pissed off, takes out his bow and thinks that Bai Yi would rather do it the hard way. Outside, people think that Bai Yi is incredible, seeing that he took care of so many E-class monsters. Someone asks about Bai Yi's class. A man in white replies that he is reported to be an E-class, level 1, but it's not clear. And that's not all. He sent Qi Yin to the right because she had an advantage against the monsters there, and dealt with the stronger monsters on the left himself. Even though Bai Yi knew that this is an individual ability test, he made the right call. The instructor, recalling Bai Yi's previous remarks, admits that he wasn't just bragging back then, and wonders what he will do next. Earlier, Bai Yi noticed that the monsters with the astro element were coming from the right. Not only were they weak, but they were also countered by the flora element. Qiyin, being chased by a spider monster, uses Vine Wall. When that didn't work, she layered another on top until she completely immobilized it and eliminated it due to the effect of poison. She gains 30 XP, and Qiyin cheers up, saying that she did it again. Bai Yi, looking at her, reveals that E-class mages possess an ability unique to their profession, and her ability is to use vines to create poisonous walls. But for her first time in a dungeon, to be able to face monsters of higher levels alone, and to even think of strangling the monster with vines is amazing. Standing in front of the sealed barrier, he thinks that all the D-rank monsters are sealed, and Qiyin is handling the monsters on her side well. This way, despite the broadcast, he can hide his abilities and still get a high score. But he has to keep in mind that people are still watching, and he wonders how he should proceed to the next step of his plan. Ziling, watching Bai Yi, muses if Bai Yi thinks that he's so capable that he can ignore him, and since the two of them are handling everything so well, he takes out his bow and aims at Qiyin. Grinning, he says that they should try this. The arrow passes through Qiyin and enters the cave opening. When Qiyin looks at him, he brushes her off, saying that he was just trying to give her a buff. Just then, a monster exits the cave with incredible speed. A double-headed maned lion, a Class D, level 11 monster, charges at Qiyin,